Sanchez is on the ground in Tel Aviv with the very latest. Raf, good morning to you. Bring us up to speed here.
Laura, good morning. That diplomat with knowledge of the situation saying those 13 Israeli women and children are now free from Hamas captivity after 49 days. They are in the custody of the Red Cross, this diplomat says, and they are heading or may have already arrived at the Rafah crossing in Egypt. We are expecting from there that they will be transferred to the Israeli military at the Israeli-Egypt border. Israeli forces there will visually identify each of these hostages because they do not trust that Hamas has necessarily delivered those 13 names that they said they would. The hostages will be given on-the-spot medical checks, and then for the first time in nearly 7 weeks, they will be able to call their families and tell them that they are okay. We are also learning from the government of Thailand that in addition to those 13 Israeli hostages, 12 Thai nationals have also been released. These are, we believe, agricultural workers who were working in those Israeli communities in the south on the 7th of October and were taken hostage as well during that Hamas terror attack. Now, those 12 were not part of these negotiations between Israel and Hamas, mediated by the United States and by Qatar. Hamas says it plans to release those Thai citizens with no preconditions. So we are expecting 25 hostages in total freed from Hamas captivity. We do not at this moment know who those 13 Israeli women and children are. But earlier this morning, a senior U.S. official said no Americans are expected to be part of today's release. Now, that is a painful blow to the American families waiting for news, but especially the family of that American toddler, Abigail Moore Idan, who turns 4 years old today. President Biden said overnight from Nantucket he was hopeful that she might be released today. But as I said, that senior U.S. official saying we are not expecting any Americans to be freed right now. Once those hostages are back in Israeli custody, they will be taken to an air base in the south of Israel, which has been converted into a medical center. And from there, they will be flown by helicopter to various hospitals all across this country. And it is at that point that we expect them to once again be reunited in person with their loved ones, the beginning of what is going to be a long, painful, difficult healing journey, but a first step. And the Israeli military has given a lot of thought about how to handle these hostages who we believe have spent most, if not all, of the last 49 days in tunnels underneath Gaza City. They may be in need of acute medical care. We do not know if they have seen the sunlight. The Israeli military planning to provide noise-canceling headphones to those little children and telling the soldiers to leave their faces uncovered and to smile to reassure the kids. Now, this is day one of what is planned to be a 4-day ceasefire with around 12 hostages released every day. And in exchange, Israel releasing Palestinian women and male teenagers from Israeli prisons. They have been gathered, those prisoners, at a facility in the occupied West Bank ahead of their release. And the hope is that today's deal will hold, the ceasefire will hold, and that every day for the next 4 days, we will see more hostages coming out of Gaza. Guys.
And Raf, as we see some of those live pictures in the video of where we think this transfer may happen, we're following those developments. I do have to ask you, because speaking to the families of those hostages, the trauma they have been put through over these last 7 weeks, Raf, what more do we know on how Hamas is deciding who gets to go and who will stay somewhere in Gaza, likely tortured, being held underneath in those tunnels?
So, Tom, we know that this deal for the first 50 Israeli hostages is women and children only. We are not expecting any men to come out as part of this deal. We are certainly not expecting any of those Israeli soldiers. We have heard from the Qatari government, who brokered this deal, that the plan is to keep families together as these batches of hostages are released. And we do believe that these families, these hostages, are going to be released in the communities that they were taken from. So it's possible that we may see them released one kibbutz at a time, one community at a time. Again, we do not have confirmation of exactly who is part of this initial group of 13, but we hope to see in the coming hours, when we get official confirmation from the Israeli government about what is going on.